Welcome to Off-Grid Contracting. Guys, this is part 3 in the off-grid property renovation that we're doing. If you want to see part 1 and 2, you can check it up in the iCard link right there. What we're doing today, I've got the initial prep work up. This well used to be, it used to feed into this, and it would pressure into it, but I guess things have changed with the water tables here because the other well's in great shape, but this one just not so much. So what we're going to do to still make it usable, so we're going to cut this off. We're going to come up and let it gravity drip in instead of try to force feed and fill all this. And then what we're going to do is actually let that T back in with a ball valve and go back down either to this water head here or to a separate water head. We may just completely disconnect that one altogether. This barrel right here is 325 gallon barrel. It'll water this entire orchard that you see right there behind you. And it's just an amazing piece of land. Now, what you see right here is the inner workings of this. Back in the day when it was done, the charge controller used was this Antrex. It actually feeds solar that you've seen in the part 2 video, and a little glimpse of it in part 1. That actually gets power from some of the panels on the roof, so that's charging this 24-volt battery bank system. And we also have a charge controller system from Hurricane Wind Power that we're going to come out of the box up to these 2 posts here for 3 of these panels that are available from Maze Wholesale Solar. And right here is what's going to be going up with those. Those are not amorphous, they're thin film glass panels. They were made in Hungary. So we're going to put those up on the rack, and you'll see the rack later. We're going to have it tilted, the wood frame, and then we'll cut those posts off even with that, and then run the 2x4s across there and cut them appropriate, drill it and bolt it up. So it'll be pretty much a wood frame underlayment for the solar system, but it'll look really good when it's done. But I'll show you that, and then we'll show you the final wiring on it and the final finish, the water running. All right, now guys, at this portion in the process, if you're doing a wood solar mount, as you can see right here, we got the pump turned on for a minute and it's filling up the tank. If you're doing something simple like this for a setup like this, you're going to want to do 4x4 posts. I would not go more than 6 feet apart. And at that conjuncture, then you can do your 2x6 or 2x8. 2x6 is totally sufficient for a truss right there, and then a truss down post like this right here. Set your solar angle that you want. And the way to do that is just look online, solar angle calculator, and then just get an angle gauge somewhere as simple as Harbor Freight. Set it on there, and then obviously tie that all together to stiffen that with a 2x6 or your 2x8, and cover back over your concrete. And at that point, you're ready to, if you're using those thin film glass panels, then all you'll do is you'll set your 2x4 out here on the appropriate distances, because we've cut this exactly 30, so all we have to do is put our 2x4s on the ends, and that's perfectly spaced to be centered on those panels. And at that point, you just bolt your panels up, drill out the holes, put your fasteners on, and I'll show you all that here in just a second. All right, guys, as we're making headway with pumping water into the tank, which, by the way, is going to have to definitely be cleaned out, but it's just for gravity feed to the trees. We can see here that we got the cross braces across here. Now the first panel is going to set up right here and centered, and then we're going to come off of it, one on each side. And then once I've marked the ones that go on each side, what we're going to do at that point is I'll just lift that off for a second, cut off the excess 2x4, because I don't really want any 2x4 sticking out other than what is absolutely necessary. And then at that point, we'll just connect our wires up, which will go up that post right there. They're coming just straight out. And we're going to wire loom that and zip tie that down, and that'll go up the post out to the back right here, and nobody will hardly ever see a thing. All right, so guys, at this point we have got the charge controller hooked up. Everything's going on the charging. We've got our feed coming in from the solar panel into the side there that's going to be zip tied up. Got our solar panels set up on their array, and there you can see, really nicely turned out. This back here, we've got our wiring, finishing buttoning that up, tightening that up to the back here so that it's out of sight and out of mind, and that can be wire loomed with larger wire loom as well later. And so anyway, that's pretty much cut and dry with this project. We're going to button this up, put the lid back on, and just one last time for clarification, this is the former solar array, and then this is the new battery bank, which should be dusted off in just a second, and that's the new charge controller. And so we've got old with new, everything's hooked up. I honestly think that having pumping options back up additional to what you already have, I think that's really critical, because this gives the customer ability to draw from a separate well, from a separate solar system, just in case something happened to the other one, you're never without water. Plus, they can take care of the orchard with that as well. To finish this project off, guys, pretty much the run of this operation, how it'll go right now, and then I'll explain how it'll go future, is that pretty much right now just the solar is collected. These are 44 watt thin film panels, and then that will go down into the charging system as you've seen earlier before we lit it up. The power from that's transferred into the switch, which when the switch is turned on, as it's going right now, will be filling this tank up. In the future, we'll be move this pipe up and over the gravity feed for them once some other irrigation things gets figured out, and that way that'll take a lot of extra pressure off the pump, probably speed up the process, and the tank can actually be spinned around to a knob where that'll let that go down into the pump that'll pump it out for the irrigation. A hand pump can go on this later on, and then that right there, that faucet's going to be obsolete. But long story short, this is a simple off-grid solar standalone pumping system, and this is the final video in this renovation series that we're doing. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check us out at offgridcontracting.com, and until we see you again, I look forward to working for you.